for me it's a release. For me it's an
Hmm.
escape. It's a letting out of emotions
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
have in me. I think what all poets have in common is that we are very sensitive people. We
Yeah.
have a lot of emotions inside us. We have so much inside us that talking it out would not suffice, so we write it
Correct.
across, we bring it across in whatever creative forms we can, right?
Yeah.
So poetry for me is that escape, is that letting out, is that releasing of all the emotions and sentiments I have inside me.
Hi, welcome to the show, Kavya. So, to start off the show, this is one of those episodes which I am really happy to do because there are a lot of writers in my community, in my audience, and they would be really interested in knowing you, your work. And I'm sure some of them have seen your magazine side of, work, The Verse of Silence. So, yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, to start off this podcast, and I'll be asking you a lot of heavy questions regarding writing in this one. The first question is one of those questions which a lot of people ask me, although I'm not from writing community. I try to create a lot of content. So people ask me, how do you stay motivated? And for a writer, like what I know about writing, it's one of those field जहाँ पे सबको लगता है ऐसा कि बाहर से देखने में कि बहुत इजी है, सिर्फ लिखना ही है, but when you actually sit down to write, it's not at all easy. So how do you stay motivated all the time to write something?
Right. So, one thing that I've realized, and it is the biggest reality and truth of my life, is that there is nothing that I can enjoy more than writing. Okay.
Hmm.
So, this
Hmm.
is not just my passion. I ultimately turned my passion into my profession. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's easy. I'm not saying the path is very lucrative, maybe in the beginning, maybe, many years down the line. But I know
Yeah.
this is the only thing that makes me happy, that I enjoy doing, that I'm good at, and I've become good at over the years,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
That's one factor that really keeps me motivated to keep going, because I know there is nothing else that I enjoy as much as I do this. So,
Yeah.
you have to be very clear in your mind and your heart that, okay, you love writing, you want to do it for the rest of your life, and that
Hmm.
should be your biggest motivating factor. Another
Correct.
thing that has personally helped me over the years is the fact that if this is my profession, I cannot be like, okay, I'm not writing for 3 months because I have a writer's block, because I don't
Yeah.
feel like it, because I'm not vibing with anything. So I make sure I write everything. I mean, I can't avoid a day without writing. Either I'm
Correct.
working on a manuscript, either I'm editing someone's work and reading someone's work, or I'm
Hmm.
writing my own. So in some way or the other, I'm constantly involved in reading or writing aspect of the creative industry. So I think
Correct.
that's another thing that keeps me motivated.
Right. So, you talk about writer's block, and that's a really good point to talk about when I am doing a podcast with a writer. But before that, I want to ask you, do you remember your first piece of writing that you had done? Like, I don't know, like, what age did you start writing actually?
Right. So the first piece I wrote, well, when I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I
Hmm.
remember that the first piece I wrote was actually in Hindi. It was a Hindi
Okay.
poem, and like a child, I rhymed it also in my own
Yeah.
little way, and it was for my mother. She had
Beautiful.
fallen really ill, and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know, like, I was
Yeah.
feeling a little helpless as a child. Because you're not used to seeing your mother's, being on the bed for 4 5 days straight, and
Hmm.
I'm like,
Hmm.
what has happened to her? So I
Yeah.
don't know, it just came to me and I wrote a piece for her. And when she got fine, I gifted it to her. I think she still has it. So that's
Wow.
the first piece that I wrote.
Hey, I just wanted to drop in and say कि अगर आप ये वीडियो एंजॉय कर रहे हो तो सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलिएगा. Now you can continue watching the episode. Okay. So you talk about like, I mean, there's this myth. I don't know if it's a myth or not, but there's this one sentence that is regarded with poetry. That is, the most amazing piece of poetry comes out when the author is depressed. So, how true is that?
Okay, I can't be the sole person saying how true or false is
Yeah.
that. Personally, for me, it is untrue. I mean,
Hmm.
I know a lot of poetry comes out of deep-rooted issues in a lot of people, a lot
Yeah.
of mental trauma, a lot of things that they have faced or experienced in their lives. But
Correct.
personally, for me, it has always been, regardless of that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't boast about having any mental health issue or any deep rooted trauma because of which I started writing simply because I enjoyed it. I thought, if I can
Yeah.
express myself better through words, why not? And then I
Yeah.
started enjoying it so much that I made it into my profession. So it is coming out of a lot of passion, a lot of practice, and a lot of dedication. So
Yeah.
yeah. But I think it is a mix of both the worlds. For some people, it is coming out of experiences and trauma and all of
Hmm.
that, depression. For some people, it is not. So we need to understand that, because it is a very generalized stereotype that all writers are depressed or all writers
Yeah.
are sad.
Yeah.
I think that is untrue. That is
Correct.
definitely false.
Correct. So, but do you feel that there's this um, issue with a lot of beginner poets that they start thinking if they don't feel really connected with something, they won't be able to write good pieces. Like, what do you feel about that?
See, I feel good pieces come out of practice. You
Hmm.
don't become a great writer. I think one can never become the best writer out there. There will
Correct.
always be someone better than you. You can always find someone better than you, right? So I think it comes out of a lot out of practice. When I started writing, I thought poetry is all about rhyming. It was
Hmm.
at a much, because I started out when I was 8 or 9 years old. But then much later, I realized that, there is free verse, there is haiku, there are other forms of poetry,
Yeah.
and one has to constantly keep on experimenting and seeing
Correct.
which one can come more easily to you. I'm not saying practice all sorts of writing, that's impossible.
Yeah.
Personally, I hate attempting sonnets. I hate
Correct.
doing it. And Shakespeare became famous for that. So, but that doesn't work for me. I just don't like
Yeah.
writing sonnets. So, I think it comes out of practice. The whole idea of, rock star movie promoting ki bhai jab tak dil nahi toot raha, writing nahi aayegi is, I think it's just lame. Okay.
Okay. Correct. So now you were talking about writer's block. I want to talk about that because, um, and I guess this is not like for writers, it's a writer's block, but for a lot of creative people, for a lot of artists, there's this one phase which comes in everyone's life, which is for a long period of time, they are unable to create something, to write something, to paint something. How do
Hmm.
you deal with that phase? Like when you are going through that block, how do you find your inspiration once again?
Right. So I take up creative writing batches with a lot of organizations, and
Yeah.
I have mentored a lot of people over whatever little career I've had. And I always tell those people, I don't know, touch wood or by God's grace, I have personally never faced writer's block, not yet. Okay.
Okay.
So there has not been a time where I have not written maximum at a stretch of 1 week. And that
Okay.
might be due to because I'm traveling or because I'm busy with some other work, but not because it's not coming from within. And I
Right.
think one of the biggest factor playing is that I don't fear writing bad, because
Hmm.
what can go worse? It's bad. Let it be. Let it sit down for a while. Go back to it, edit it, and
Yeah.
make it into something more beautiful. That's the
Yeah.
best part about writing. You can write bad. Don't fear writing bad. Is all I teach those mentors, mentees that I've
Correct.
tutored over the years. That people are like, I'm not getting that feeling, it's just not coming, so they don't even attempt to write. I'll just say,
Right.
sit down, create whatever environment you require, whether you want the quiet, whether you want music, whether you want dim lights, whatever you need to write, create that, sit down, and at least write a line or two. What could be
Correct.
worse? It's bad. So what?
Yeah.
Go back, edit it, and make it into something more beautiful.
Right. So, Kavya, you are someone who has a lot of experience in writing poetry, and you, as you said, you mentor a lot of other budding writers as well. So, I want to ask you a very deep question. I don't know if, like, how to like exactly frame it, but what is poetry for you? Like, what is poetry? What does poetry mean to you? And why do you like write poems or any kind of things which you do?
I mean, I know it sounds very easy, and but it is so difficult to put it in words as to what poetry means to me. But
Yeah.
the easiest and, in the most layman language that I can, say it in, is that it's, for me, it's a release. For me, it's an
Hmm.
escape. It's a letting out of
Yeah.
emotions that I have in me. I think what all poets have in common is that we are very sensitive people. We
Yeah.
have a lot of emotions inside us. We have so much inside us that talking it out would not suffice. So we write it
Correct.
across, we bring it across in whatever creative forms we can, right?
Yeah.
So poetry for me is that escape, is that letting out, is that releasing of all the emotions and sentiments I have inside me.
Yeah.
Plus there is this force that plays behind that. If I can impact even one person with my poetry, if I can bring about little change with my poetry, that is
Yeah.
all that means to me. So why I write is to impact even one person's life in some way or the other, good way
Hmm.
of course, but in some way or the
Yeah.
other, that person should feel, ki yaar, this piece has been written for me. I mean, like,
Correct.
wow. So that's the
So
sole intention.
yeah. So is writing a form of therapy for you?
Yes, of course, it's healing, it's therapy, it's escape, it's passion, it's everything that makes me feel good,
Yeah.
basically.
So like what is your writing process like? How does a day in your life look like when you are trying to write something?
Okay, so usually I don't know for why, for some reason, either I write really early in the morning or I write really late in the night. So there is no
Okay.
in between. I can't write in the afternoons or evenings or
Yeah.
midday, because too much noise, too much
Yeah.
work, too
Yeah.
much going on, right? So a lot of things in my head. I think I am the most settled and mentally free during early hours or late hours. So
Correct.
very simple. I'll just find some quiet corner in house. There is no one specific location I can sit. There is a space, a mat right down here, so I'll just sit on
Okay.
that mat. Or
Yeah.
I'll just sit in my room and be quiet and get my diary, get my pen. For some reason I can't write on my phone or on laptop or any gadget
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. I need a diary and a pen.
Hmm.
So, and I will just start writing. I will just close my eyes. And for me, titles come first. I don't know why. So
Okay.
usually the title of my poems are the last line of my poems. And I don't know,
Okay.
it just has gotten in a way that I find it nice and comfortable doing. So yeah.
Right. And you have been writing since like a long time now. Like you said, you wrote your first beat at the age of 8 or 9. Since then, you have written numerous pieces. You have published several books. I'll talk about your books as well. But before that, there's something which I want to ask you. If there's anything which you have learned in these years, like how can you get better at writing? What is that one thing?
That one thing has to be the fact that you do not have to be overcritical of your own work.
Hmm.
Until and unless you fall in love with your own writings, you can't expect people to fall in love with your writings, right?
Right.
अगर आपको खुद को ही अपना piece अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, तो how can you expect others to like it? So you've written it, you've edited it, you've done everything you can in your power to make it into something better, stand out. And
Yeah.
that coming out of a lot of reading, a lot of writing, and after that you just have to let go, because not everyone will resonate with your art, not
Correct.
everyone will connect with it, and that's fine. You don't have to reach out to everyone, you just have to reach out to those who can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
So
my biggest learning.
and like we live in a world where criticism, like giving criticism, is very easy. It's easier to become a critic than to someone who is actually creating art. So how do you deal with criticism, and what is that whole process of dealing with harsh criticism with, like?
Right. I mean, and that's a very good question, because it took me a long time to actually deal with criticism. And I think that's the
Hmm.
case with a lot of artists who are out there in the open. We are making ourselves, our art available to the public.
Yeah.
So of course we are open to criticism. And when my first book came out, actually when my second book came out, to Nadia, I was very stressed about the fact that, about the Amazon ratings, about someone, if
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
gives me 1 star, what would it be like and all that. And
Yeah.
I was like, how will I even deal with it? And then I realized there are two sorts of criticisms. One that is coming out of bad taste,
Hmm.
and one that is actually helping you grow as an artist, because that
Yeah.
advice or that criticism is genuinely helpful. And I'll give you two examples. So there was this review on Amazon on my book Tumadia, which said, "This is the shittiest book I've ever read." So that's not
Okay.
constructive criticism. That's
Yeah.
blatant bad blood criticism.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
not helping me in any way. You didn't like the book, fine, but presenting it in a manner which can help me
Yeah.
improve. is
Correct.
what I'll take positively. So this is something that I can never take positively, and this is something that I can't do anything about, so why feel bad,
Hmm.
right? And the second sort of criticism, which is constructive criticism, is, this person wrote, and she gave me 3 stars for the book, and she said, I like this, I like this, I like this, things that I did not like. Maybe the pace was a little bit slow, maybe the author could have done this, it would have been come out better.
Right.
So these are the things, these are the lessons that I took, and I implemented in my next book. So these were helpful
Correct.
to me.
Yeah.
And I think as artists we have to be open to such constructive criticism.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about your published work, all your books. So the one which you have published recently, it's called All Seasons Alike. So I'll tell you something. I ordered your book from Amazon, and I thought it will come
Okay.
by today, but it didn't. Otherwise, I would have like shown it here. But
All
anyway,
right.
like tell me something about this book.
All right, I'll show it here because I've like very nicely decorated
Yeah.
it here in my bookshelf. So this is how it looks, and it's called All Seasons Alike. Took me took me a year to write it.
Hmm.
It was a tough book to write because it is very, like, I'm not trying to praise. I'm just factually stating what how I intended to write the book.
Yeah.
It is very hard hitting. It has a lot of trigger warnings in the sense that there is a lot of sexual exploitation. There is a lot of scam. A lot of poverty and underprivilege
Right.
pains that the main character faces. So it is a hard book to read. And I took 1 year to write it, and I edited it myself several times. Then there is obviously a professional editor who
Yeah.
edits it. And yeah, I mean, it's the kind of book that you don't want to make many changes to, because how much more of pain can you reflect, right, through your writings?
Right.
So you have to be sensitive to the readers that you're trying to approach as well. So one thing
Correct.
that I was fearful was that either people will really like this book and
Hmm.
it will connect with them, or they will just completely fail to understand it, because
Right.
I have experimented a lot with the structure. And I think this
Yeah.
is this is the Kavya who's talking as a grown-up, because with Tu Nadia, my last book, I played safe.
Yeah.
I wrote a very simple, simple, subtle, sober book, going in a
Yeah.
linear fashion. But with this, I've experimented with the structure. I have divided chapters into 4 main seasons: spring, summer, winter, autumn. And
Yeah.
each of these seasons is further divided into time, date, and day,
Correct.
and it is constantly revolving between past and present. So it can be a bit confusing for the readers, and but that's the risk that I wanted to take. And let's
Right.
see how people perceive it now.
Correct. So, how do you like? What is your book writing process like? How do you structure a book?
See, again, as I said, titles comes to me first. So
Hmm.
I had a title in my head, and then there is always this basic storyline, that these are the themes that I want to cover in my book. So that is
Right.
something that I'm clear about in the very beginning. Then what I do is I work on character sketches. Who would be the
Hmm.
main characters? Now, I personally prefer writing books in which there is no one main character. I like having 2, 3 characters who are of equal importance, right? So I create character sketches. One of the main mistakes that a lot of upcoming writers, authors make is that they make all their characters look and sound the same. They don't give them
Hmm.
distinct characteristics.
Correct.
How is one character different from the other? So I make sure that I give them qualities, and I'm not trying to make superheroes or villains here. All my characters are flawed. That is something
Correct.
that I practice as a postmodern author, as a postmodern writer.
Right.
So after character sketches, I work on settings. Settings is one of the best parts because I love, defining the setting, how things are
Yeah.
going on, little moments in my book, and I think that's what I like to work on a lot. Every author has a favorite part that they like working on. For me, it is
Correct.
settings, and then I choose which point of view to write the book from. Which would
Hmm. Hmm.
which would be good enough to connect directly to the audiences.
Right.
Then I try to assemble it, and then the only step left is just to start writing.
Correct.
Because once you start writing, a lot of new ideas, new way of attempting things, and newer way of trying out things comes to your mind, and feel free to do that.
Correct.
So yeah.
But then, like when you are writing a book which has a lot of characters, I always had this doubt in my mind because like I read a lot of fiction.
Hmm.
So there are like these distinct characters. How do you plan out their whole character arc? Like what is a writer's process of defining that okay, this character would be doing this at this moment and the other character would be doing this. So how do you plan out that thing?
Right. So I think it is very important that from the very beginning you should be clear what role is your character actually playing, because
Hmm.
there are many insignificant characters also in the book which can be taken as
Correct.
side characters.
Hmm.
They might not have any important role, but a friend, he's just
Yeah.
there to listen to what the main character is saying, or maybe there is a mother who's just there to show that okay, this character has a family life and there is a mother in the
Correct.
family, but
Correct.
she might not play any important role. So then you have to narrow it down to all the main characters, whether it is one, whether it is three, four, whatever number of main characters you want to have, because those are the ones who would be playing the major role in your book, right?
Right.
And then you have to individually set roles, that how are they making your book worth reading, what is the role
Hmm.
that they are playing in the storyline. You have to ask yourself these questions, okay? And how is
Correct.
this role different from the other character's role? How is this one standing out better than the other character's role? And then
Yeah.
you try to combine it into a story format and bring it out across creatively.
Correct. So, is writing sort of a spiritual practice for you?
Spiritual, see, it is, as I said, and I cannot stress this enough. I know I use it in a very loose manner, but it is coming
Yeah,
out of a lot of emotions inside me, a
yeah,
lot of sentiments inside me, and a lot of passion.
yeah,
It can be spiritual, it can be religious, it can be
yeah.
soulful, and anything you want to name it. But it's all inside me that is coming out through whatever creative way it can.
Correct. So, let's talk about your magazine, Verse of Silence. So, tell me about this project. Like, first of all, how did you come up with this magazine? Like, what was that moment like?
Okay, so I remember I did my master's in creative writing from University of Nottingham, England,
Yeah.
and it was there that I first got to know of the idea of literary magazines, because
Hmm.
in the States or in UK and in all these places there are tons and tons of literary magazines which provide a good quality platform to young
Right.
artists, whether poets or storytellers or photo essay artists and whoever.
Correct.
And then I realized that not everyone out there wants to come out with a full-fledged poetry book or a
Hmm.
full-fledged novel. Maybe there are some people who are good at writing just one piece of poetry or that one piece of short fiction. Where will they
Right.
get it published? So I had decided back then only that whenever I come to India, I will start working on my own literary magazine. And it's been 3 years now. So when I came back, I tried creating my own team. So the
Yeah.
first and the most important person that I needed, see, I could edit the poems and stories. But who
Yeah.
would make that makes magazine? That another artist I need who would creatively, design the magazine and put the content into place and bring it out. So
Correct.
the first person that I found was, the magazine designer, and his name is Vidit, and he's been with me for the past 3 years now.
Okay.
It's funny because he was studying in VIT Vellore, and
Okay.
now he's gotten a job in Amazon. And I said, okay, now you're working for a big company, so why would you work for us and all that? He's like, this is not something that I'm leaving. So that's
Okay.
the kind of trust factor you need. So we started out with coming out with monthly issues,
Hmm.
but that got a bit hectic, and we wanted to experiment and give more platform and more opportunities to young
Yeah.
artists. So now we come out with quarterly issues which are digital
Yeah.
magazine,
Yeah.
and we have a subscription for it which is at a very minimal rate. And we come out with spring, summer, autumn, and winter issue. Apart from that, we did offline events as well, but due to the pandemic we shifted to
Yeah.
online. So
Correct.
we do a lot of poetry contests, short fiction contests, and creative writing workshops. And the recent one that we are doing and for which the submissions are open is poetry reading. So we want to create an online poetry reading
Yeah.
platform where artists can freely like read their poetry.
Yeah. So I was
So
I
yeah.
was going to actually ask you as I talked with you offline as well. If someone from my audience wants to publish their piece in your magazine, how can they do that?
Right. So we do have an Instagram page, which is Verse of Silence
Yeah.
underscore, and we do have a website as well, www.verseofsilence.com, and you can just check or we have a Facebook page as well. You can just go to the website or check the Instagram page, and we are
Yeah.
constantly updating it with whatever submissions are open for whatever thing we are accepting submissions, or you can check the website and you can submit accordingly. All the guidelines and where do you have to submit and what all do you have to follow, it's all mentioned on the website.
Right. So I'll link all your stuff below in the description box. Before we end this, I have like one very important question. Actually, not one. I have three questions. But the most important one is, how did pandemic affect your artistic abilities? Like, what was that whole 10 to 11 months like of being in one place? Did it actually help you, or was it sort of something which actually put you down as a writer?
Yeah, I mean, I think personally for me, because the experience has been different for each artist out
Yeah,
there. But
100%.
personally for me, initially it was very frustrating. It
Yeah,
was because, yes, things were not coming out. I was writing. I was still writing every day. I was doing my projects and all. But
yeah,
I just felt that it's not as good as I can write. So
correct.
I would write. I would keep it aside. I would write. I would keep it aside. Plus, this book all seasons alike, it has been ready since the past 7-8 months, so I kept on
Yeah,
delaying it with my publisher that okay, maybe the audience will not purchase it right now, let's see how the market is like. So I kept on delaying it, and then I was like, okay, like we can't do this, we don't know what's going to happen with the pandemic, and it's not
right,
like people are going to stop reading, so let's just try and see how things work.
correct.
So we finally decided to release it. So personally for me, yes, it was frustrating, but then I guess, just like because humans have a tendency to adapt and change and see what works for them, I think I personally just adapted to the situation and I created content. What I did not fall for is that a lot of artists started diverting all their creative energies towards writing poems related to the pandemic,
Yeah,
and maybe I felt that the general audience needed a relief through creative pieces and not be reminded
correct.
again and again that pandemic is going on, be
Hmm.
scared, pandemic is going on. So I
Yeah,
instead chose to write poems which were not about the pandemic you know
correct.
so yeah, that's how I tried my best to contribute.
Okay. Before we end this, is there anything which you want to tell to those people who are just starting out their writing journey, people who want to get into the publishing industry, or just someone who wants to be, some kind of influencer through his or her writing work on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere?
Right. So the first thing is, again, just as I mentioned before, don't be overcritical of your art, whatever form of art you're coming out with. Learn to have faith in your writings. Secondly, try to understand that, again, you can't appeal to everyone and anyone, right?
Correct.
So you need to narrow down your audience and see who would be the kind of people who would like your work or who would like
Right.
your kind of art, and then target those and then try to grow in that zone. Thirdly, be regular with what you do, because if you think that you're going to make Instagram post today and then for 2 weeks you're not there, people are not
Right.
going to relate. They'll be like, okay, this person is inactive, why are we even following this person? So be regular in your art. If you're trying to cater to an audience, you have to understand that you're responsible for them now in a way, because
Right.
they look for your writings, they look for your music, or they look for your poetry or whatever form of art you're coming up with. So be regular in that approach. And lastly, never stop experimenting. Don't, I mean, start out with a safe zone, something that you're
Yeah.
comfortable doing, something that you're good at, but then experiment also, because people do get bored eventually. So you have to experiment
Correct.
with whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Correct. Okay. So before we sign off, I asked this question to all my guests. What are your top three book recommendations or top three books which you have gifted to a lot of people?
Okay, that's a very tough one. I like Gulliver's Travel.
Yeah.
I like Hard Times by Charles Dickens. Can I name four?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
another
Sure.
one just came to
You
mind.
can name
Okay.
10.
Okay. I love Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. There is The Color Purple by Alice Walker, is another one that I really like.
Yeah.
Catcher in the Rye. Yeah, these are the few that I have in my mind.
Amazing. So yeah, Kavya, thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope so. Whoever is listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube, they got to learn a lot from you. If you anyone who is watching or listening, if you want to connect with Kavya, I'll link all her social media in the description box. So just go ahead, check out her profile, and do connect with her. If you want to publish in Verse of Silence, she has already said how can you do that. So yeah, thank you once again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.